Imagine a civilization 5,000 years older than anything we thought possible. A place that defies our understanding of humanity's past. For years, ancient astronaut theorists questioned conventional history, and now, astonishing new discoveries are fueling their claims. In 1996, near Sacsayhuaman, Turkey, a series of colossal stone monoliths emerged from the plains. Gobekli Tepe. Radiocarbon dating delivers a seismic shock. These structures are up to 12,000 years old. This isn't just old. It's a pre-Mesopotamian marvel that rewrites the timeline of civilization. Gobekli Tepe in southeast Turkey exploded onto the archaeological scene. It's now one of the most important sites globally. We simply never conceived that simple hunter-gatherers could create such spectacular, monumental structures. These limestone pillars, towering up to 18 feet high, are beautifully dressed and in smooth work, unlike anything we've ever seen from that era. Geomagnetic analysis suggests at least 20 major circular structures lie buried in this mound. They've only uncovered half, leaving immense mysteries still underground. Erich von Däniken theorized these ancient civilizations, many in contact with or developed by extraterrestrials, were destroyed in a cataclysm like the biblical flood. Gobekli Tepe was built over 12,000 years ago, and we have no records of its construction or its builders. So, we have to ask, were the people who built Gobekli Tepe swept away in a great flood, just as the Bible depicts? Fox. The theory I gravitate to most is that there was a pre-flood advanced civilization almost entirely eradicated. This idea aligns powerfully with the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, given the number of megalithic structures erected around the same time. Robert Schoch, for instance, has dated the Sphinx to 12,000 years ago. And then Gobekli Tepe arrived, turning everything we thought we knew on its head. Peru, home to the world's longest mountain range, the Andes, the very spine of South America. Here, in a high river valley among peaks towering over 20,000 feet, the Inca established their capital city of Cusco, thriving for over 300 years until Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century. Above Cusco, at over 12,000 feet elevation, looms the ancient fortress of Sacsayhuaman. Its immense stone walls may hold secrets far older than the Inca themselves. My feeling, a very strong feeling, is that we're looking at a two-phase construction site in many of these so-called Inca stone monuments. The Inca structures seem to sit atop much more ancient rock-cut and megalithic structures whose builders remain unknown. This actually aligns with the Inca's own traditions. Like many Inca sites, Sacsayhuaman features astonishing stonework, yet not all of it is credited to the Inca. Conventional archaeology suggests the Quilchi culture built the older sections about 1,000 years ago. But the Inca themselves believed the site was constructed by an earlier, unnamed race of people, led by a powerful god who descended from the skies. Throughout time, there has been witness to a god named Viracocha who visited the South American people, blessing them and bestowing all types of technology. His physical characteristics make him stand out from the, but did this god Viracocha actually exist? Could he have been, as ancient astronaut theorists suggest, a visitor from an alien world? If so, it might help explain just how this ancient site was constructed. This rock weighs about 20 tons. That's minuscule compared to many of the stones at Sacsayhuaman. Today, we have heavy machinery to move such stones. But in ancient times, especially for the Inca, it would have required massive human workforces, toiling for immense amounts of time. A rule of thumb is 10 to 20 men to move a 1-ton rock. So, when you're talking hundreds of tons, you're talking thousands of men. David Childress. What we see are cultures with the technology to quarry giant blocks of stone, move them to the build site, and then precisely stack, cut, and articulate these massive blocks into, in some cases, almost indestructible structures. When you talk about granite, you're looking at a composition of feldspar, mica, and quartz. You'd need diamond to abrade or cut it. We would use diamond today to cut granite. These are the kinds of discoveries that lead one to question whether they were really using the tools in the ancient toolbox, or if something else was at work. The Pacific Ocean. January 1836. The British cutter Lambton arrives at the shores of the Micronesian island of Pohnpei. It is one of the first European expeditions to reach this remote landmass, located roughly 2,500 miles northeast of Australia. The ship's surgeon, identified only as Dr. Campbell, writes about a megalithic site standing off Pohnpei's southeastern shore. He speculates that these massive structures are as old as the Egyptian pyramids and must have been the work of great men. It is one of the earliest accounts of what will later be known as Nan Madol. Nan Madol is this amazing construction. It's a full-on city. When pilots during World War II would fly over that part of the Pacific, they'd look out their windows and see what was essentially described as the Venice of the Pacific. So, that became one of its nicknames. Today, much of Nan Madol is hidden beneath dense vegetation, making it appear as though the edge of Pohnpei extends further out into the ocean. But in reality, it is an 11-square-mile complex consisting of more than 100 man-made islets standing atop a submerged coral reef. Archaeologists estimate that to construct the site, the builders used 250 million tons of basalt, a black rock that forms when volcanic lava cools and becomes solid. Some of the basalt logs and blocks weigh upwards of 50 tons. Nan Madol is this mysterious island in the middle of nowhere. You have at least 600 miles in every direction where there is absolutely nothing. To find this incredible megalithic structure there, you have to wonder why that place existed in the first place. When we consider the sheer scale of the Nan Madol construction site, it's mind-boggling. Why would they need this scale of construction on a tiny island in the middle of nowhere? It remains a complete mystery who exactly constructed it and when. Historians have attributed the megalithic construction to the Sacsayhuaman dynasty, an empire that ruled over Nan Madol for approximately 500 years, from 1100 to 1628 AD. The speculation that they were the builders of Nan Madol has been the subject of controversy, as many believe an accurate dating of the structures is virtually impossible to determine. It's difficult, really, to put dates on Nan Madol. Currently, mainstream archaeologists assign the city a date of about 1100 AD, derived from dating some of the coral rubble found there. What I believe is that this is merely the date of the last repair work on this amazing city, and that the city itself was actually built much earlier than that. The thing is, they left no records. No literature, no history, no art. Nothing that says they had these advanced technologies or concepts like mathematics that would enable them to build such an archaeological wonder. So, it leaves this great mystery of who actually constructed Nan Madol and why. Located more than 500 miles from the crowded streets of Istanbul is Şanlıurfa in southeastern Turkey. There, in 1994, on a dusty hilltop, a local shepherd noticed the tip of a stone sticking out of his field. He began to dig, eventually unearthing a 19-foot pillar. Its edges were precise, and rising from its center was a relief carving of a strange animal. Upon closer examination, it appeared the finely chiseled stone had been fashioned by talented stonemasons working with advanced tools. When word of the discovery reached the scientific community, one fact became obvious. A Kurdish shepherd had stumbled upon what is perhaps the most astonishing archaeological discovery in modern times, a site known as Gobekli Tepe. Linda Moulton Howe. For 13 years, a German archaeology team has been meticulously going into a hill. They've been carbon dating as deep as they go. It has taken them 13 years to uncover only 5% of a gigantic civilization. Circles upon circles upon circles, perfect circles in stone. And rising out of those stone circles are huge sculpted columns, 19 feet high, 15 tons per column. Test results have supported the idea that Gobekli Tepe is nearly 12,000 years old, almost 7,000 years older than Mesopotamia's Fertile Crescent, long heralded as the cradle of civilization. In Gobekli Tepe, we have the oldest advanced site now on our planet. We know of no other site that is this advanced. It has now doubled the history of humanity. And right, there is this gigantic site with huge megalithic circular structures. It just stands there, a mystery, asking us to figure out, how was this done? What's the background to this? We don't know who made them. They just come out of the darkness of the last ice age, where we know nothing, and enter the stage of history already fully formed. To my mind, this is indicative of a major forgotten episode in human history. Could the discovery of Gobekli Tepe radically change our understanding of human history? And might proof of an ancient civilization provide evidence that mankind's most puzzling myths might actually be based in fact? A lot of myths, a lot of legends, suggest there were past civilizations of astounding sophistication at incredibly early periods. I think we have little glimmers, little suggestions around the world that there was something going on much higher, much more sophisticated, at a much earlier period of time. Andrew Collins. To put things into perspective, Gobekli Tepe is 12,000 years old. That is several thousand years earlier in age than Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid. And indeed, according to biblical tradition, the world really began in 4000 BC. Yet, that is 8,000 years later than the foundation of Gobekli Tepe. So clearly, we have here something that contradicts our normal understanding of the evolution of civilization. Curiously, after 13 years of digging, archaeologists investigating the ancient site have failed to recover a single stone-cutting tool, nor have they found any agricultural implements. How in the world can you contemplate 19-foot-tall, perfectly sculpted columns that are 11,000 to 12,000 years old and no tools?